So recently, my wife added a new thing to the honey to-do list. She wanted a new computer desk, built like an old farmhouse with distressed look. So we went to Lowe's to pick up some new lumber, some new 2x4s and 2x6s to build this desk for her.
New by 96.
It says 4 96-inch 2x4, so we're going to have
Here's
6.
96.
These are 96.
That's 2 by 3 by 8. No, those aren't. Those are 2 by 3s.
So while we were searching for the wood, we were kind of having problems trying to figure out which was which. So one of the Lowe's salespeople came and helped us. And can I say something? I'm jealous of this guy's beard. I can't grow a beard like that, and I'm twice his age.
But we need 2 by 4 of that by 96. Thank you. Yeah.
So we'll grab 6.
Put them on this side.
While I have done many carpentry projects for outside of the house, making benches and stuff, this is my first piece of furniture inside the house. And it's a tabletop that we're going to glue the things together and use clamps to glue the tabletop.
There's the handsome fella. There's the handsome boy. So my husband is busy over here building my desk to put my computer and my printer and scanner and everything on so that my office functions a lot better.
This was a learning process because we want to be able to build things for the bus, like cabinet tops and stuff like that. So we figured this would be our first dry run. I knew I was going to make mistakes, but that was the whole intent of this, was to learn from those mistakes. So we put the clamps on, and one of the things I learned after I got the clamps on is I probably should have had at least 2 on the opposite sides, because there's just a little bit of a curve to the actual tabletop, and some of the edges of the wood don't sit flush, so you see me actually trying to hit them flush with a hammer and a block of wood. One other important thing I learned is you got to be really careful with the wood glue, because it does come off, it does sand off, but when you stain it with a dark stain, where the glue dries, you can see the lighter color wood through it. So gotta make sure that on future projects that I make sure that I don't do anything that's going to allow that glue to show. We built the tabletop when it was just Barbie and I, but we knew that the legs we were going to do with the grandboys. And I always try to mentor the grandboys in anything and everything. Anything I do, I bring them into it, and I help explain why we're doing stuff. And they always get a real kick out of that, especially when they get to use Poppy's tools. So another thing that I had to do was cut out notches for the X's in the legs, and I did that with my table saw. And I'm still not good with corners yet, so what I did was I laid the square part of the legs over a 2x4, marked where the centers were, and then I took my speed square, measured the corners, and then I took my chop saw and I made all those cuts. I still end up having to come back and trim up one, but I always believe cutting a little bit light first, because you can always go back and cut more. You want to see it? See? Yeah, here's what you do. This button turns it on, And then when you put it on there, just kind of do circles. Okay? And then when you come to a spot like this that's got letters, just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth till that black stuff's all gone. Okay? Hold it flat. Hold it flat. See how it's got a flat surface? Put it flat down. That way you got more area standing at one time.
Doggies.
Stay right here, buddy. This one, the ink must be a little bit deeper. So what you can do like that is instead of holding it flat, just kind of tilt it a little bit. Not a whole lot. See, we got a little like ding there. So remember how I told you about leaning it a little bit? Lean it just a little bit and sand that away. Not too much, just a little. Just start flat and then just kind of lean up there, just a little bit. See? Look at that. Nice. It's pretty now. Okay? So we did this side already, right? Yep. So we gotta do this The 4.
That's
Okay,
4.
this three goes next to that. Okay. And then the 4.
Well, next to the 4. It goes over the 3. There's no number on that. There's no number on it. There's no number on it.
Well, it's a good thing we numbered all the others.
Yeah.
So now that leaves us with a problem. Just go this way, or just go the other way.
Now I'm gonna go
Not only do I try to build a relationship with the boys, but so do the dogs. Every time the boys come over, they have the biggest smiles on their faces. And as you can see here shortly, they're always trying to get the boys to love on them. I mean, they're never more than 5 feet from the boys at any given time. And here you can see Nico going up to one of the grandboys saying, "Love me, love me, love me." And he actually even tries to sit on him because he wants attention from him. Still doing it. This way. Just like a puzzle.
Nice. That's gonna be a sturdy desk. Please quit scratching the floor.
That hurt me a little bit. The only problem is, I should have glued it. I did end up taking them apart and gluing them, but here you see the final assembly where I marked the legs for the placements, put glue down, and then I screw it down. The boys are helping me by handing me screws and everything, and the dogs are helping by supervising, make sure that we do everything correctly.
So after the boys had all finished the hard part, I got to do the fun part, to turn it into an old-looking farmhouse style desk. So the first part was to stain everything dark, and then I came back with paint and a dry brush and brushed it on, and then used a rag to kind of smear it so that it looked like it was old and weathered. And I think the final thing turned out really nice. Thankful my husband is so crafty.